opinion, would not have been as high as 65% of revenues because of the larger denominator. So again, Madam Speaker, they boast about downsizing, right-sizing. Up to today, I heard the honourable member for St. George, but perhaps she doesn't know any better, Madam Speaker. I have to excuse her. Boasting that they are right-sizing, that they're reducing the amounts paid in personal emoluments and pensions. But look, the figures here, they're in your estimate. The figures have actually increased considerably. As I said, by 125 million. And let me say here that in terms of back pay, let's assume they paid $10 million so far in back pay. Let's assume, Madam Speaker, that they spent $10 million in the voluntary arm separation package. That's 20 million. So how do you account for the increase of 105 million? Madam Speaker, again, they talk the talk. They sound sweet when they talk. But I want to tell you, their competence is certainly questionable. Seriously questionable, Madam Speaker. In fact, I'll go as far as saying that other than the fast talking and the sweet talking, you have a number of incompetent individuals on the government benches. Madam Speaker, the next chart looks at the issue of government value added. And it looks at the years 1997 to 2006, plus the projected for 2007. And what we're seeing here, Madam Speaker, is that under the Antigua Labour Party, the contribution of government spending to GDP was on average about 18%, well 17-18%. However, Madam Speaker, under the UPP as at the end of this year, the contribution of government services to overall value added would have fallen to 14.9%, and it's in the budget statement. Now, Madam Speaker, the spin that the member for St. John's Rural East placed on that reduction is that government is making less intervention in the economy. But, Madam Speaker, that is not correct. Because one would have expected that if $420 million in expenditure could generate value added of 18%, Madam Speaker, one would expect that the additional $200 million that they collected during the last 2 years would have increased the value added. So it shows very clearly here that the UPP government is a value-destructing government. So that they tax us, Madam Speaker, and they spend the monies on soft expenditure, and the people of this country ultimately do not benefit from good value added. This is a value added, Madam Speaker, under the UPP. Bad roads and drains. Madam Speaker, this one is in Villa area, and the road has more grass than the football field. Madam Speaker, this is another street in the country. That's a pond. And by the way, that photograph was taken on a dry day. That's the level of development that is taking place now under the UPP. And let me say here, I know, Madam Speaker, that some attempt is being made now to address the issue of the roads. But during the last 2.5 years, the UPP built less than 1 mile of roads. When you look at the Sousa Road, it's less than a 1/4 mile. And the other one they brag about, Madam Speaker, is the Sweets Road, the Sweets Main Road. Less than 1 mile per road. Or I'll get generous. 2 miles per road, Madam Speaker, in 2.5 years. And it is well known that it takes in the region about $1.5 million to build a mile of road. So they spent $3 million building roads, Madam Speaker, out of all the monies that they have collected. And I think they did some roads in Barbuda, they may have spent another maybe, let's say $3 million. So $6 million building roads. After they were given an increase of almost $200 million in taxes. And we haven't gotten to the borrowings as yet. So it shows, Madam Speaker, that we are not getting good value for money. You keep interrupting. I keep telling you to listen and learn. Please, you're like a Spanish station. Madam Speaker, the next slide shows a drain. A drain, Madam Speaker, with grass growing as high as 6 feet. That was taken 2 days ago. It wasn't in my constituency. That is the kind of development that is taking place under the UPP. That's what they're bragging about. Now, Madam Speaker, I want to turn to the issue of borrowings.